Hey everyone, welcome to the KE Report and a company update from Novo Resources. We're going to be looking ahead, outlining some of the exploration plans for the first half of 2025. The company holds a wide range of projects in Australia, so we're going to focus on the ones that will have the near-term work coming. I am chatting with Mike Spreadborough, Executive Co-Chairman of Novo Resources. The company is traded on the TSX under the symbol NVO, on the OTCQX under the symbol NSRPF, and the Australian Exchange NVO. Now, Mike, just as a broad overview here, break down which projects, which assets will have the bulk of the work completed in the first half of this year, please.
Yeah, thanks, Cory, and good to catch up at the start of 2025, which, we've got a great environment, high gold price, and for Novo, people should have picked up in December, we were able to do some fantastic exploration farm-ins. So just a reminder, farming is where we're able to expend money on the ground, manage the work, and then if we like the project, we can expend a bit more and take a bit more ownership. And in the two farm-ins that we did in New South Wales, which is in the eastern side of Australia, we've actually given us the flexibility of doing two lots of pieces of work before formally entering into a joint venture. And that is a great way to balance our expenditure of funds against risk, because if we find surprises or we don't like what we see, we can walk away without, having full ownership. So in December, we did do 3 great project deals, and they will be the focus of this part of the year. Our team already are on the ground of the 2 new projects. One, the Albert Goldfields, which is in the northwest of Western Australia, New South Wales, and the John Bull project, which is on the east coast of New South Wales. So we've got our teams on the ground already doing mapping, taking soils, doing XRF assaying, and pulling together a story so we can understand what drilling programs we'd like to do probably at the end of March and heading into April. So that's very exciting. And then you'll see, kind of April, May, June, you will see us after completing those drilling programs, depending on the timing, we'll head back to Western Australia to the Onslow, which is some new ground we've picked up, but also back to the Pilbara as well. So a very busy period already for the guys on the ground, but then following through for drilling programs late March all the way through to the end of June.
All right, Mike, let's dive in a little bit more to these New South Wales projects, those JV deals. You and I chatted about that in mid-December when a lot of these agreements were signed, and all these agreements, the company Novo is earning into a 70-30 joint venture. It's early stage work here. So when you talk about drilling, is this going to be a scout drilling program? What more can you tell us about some of the targets, some of the goals around this early work?
So both of the 2 projects in New South Wales, the Albert Goldfields and John Bull, both of those have already had previous drilling by owners, historical drilling. In some cases, there's also been historical soil mappings or geophysics. So if you take John Bull, and I actually visited there yesterday and just got back into Western Australia last night, John Bull, previous drilling picked up some good intersections, 68 metres at 1 gram, 94 metres at 0.95, including 32 metres at 1.14. So this previous drilling, not many holes, only 17 holes, had great indication of, good gold mineralisation. So what we'll do, well, the team's out there doing some really good mapping. They'll do some extra soils, and then they'll pull that together, and we'll do around 1,500 metres of drilling sometime late March or April. So people have already done a bit of work. We're now going to add our great expertise and expand on that work. And the same at Albert Goldfields. Previous owners have done drilling. Haven't done so much, mapping. So we've gone on the ground and we're now mapping, taking soil samples, doing some structural work. And again, we'll build up about a 1,500 metre drill program, and we'll execute that program. So both of these projects already have good potential on the ground. Over in Western Australia, in Onslow, it's a very little bit different one. It's an area that we've recognised that is underexplored We like what we see when we look at public data, and our team at the moment is busy putting all of that together so we can look at the first pass program. So the aim there will be to get on the ground, do some soils, do some mapping, maybe some geophysics, and then later on in the half we'll do the first maiden drilling program in some of these areas. So Onslow is definitely very early stage. John Bull and Albert Goldfields, they've already had their first maiden drilling program, and we're there to follow up.
So on these three projects, any general estimate on what the budget is going to be for all this exploration work?
Ooh, a bit probably early, but as I said, both John Bull and Pilbara will do about 1,500 metres of RC drilling in this half of the year, and we've definitely got all the funds to support those programs. Not sure how much we'll do in Onslow, we're still working that out, and we'll probably also do about another 1,500, 2,500 metres of air core RC drilling in the Pilbara around May, June. So we've got a great program of works following through from mid-March onwards. So people should definitely keep an eye out for the results from those programs in early April.
So in terms of what you're looking for at each of these assets, are they all gold focused? Do they have similar mineralization from your understanding? What are the general targets in terms of mineralization?
They are definitely all gold projects. All of these projects these new ones that we get in, we see the early stage drilling provides a pretty good solid base to move into an early stage resource. So that's what our drilling program will really be focused on in this half of the year, is really to confirm that potential. Now, from the work that we've done, we think they've got great potential, which is why we've picked them up and doing the farming. But the work will really be there to see, do we see a pathway to a resource? We're not playing with these projects for fun. We're looking for opportunities to grow into an economic resource. And clearly, if this first phase of drilling isn't that exciting for both of the projects, we'll walk away and we'll continually look for other projects. But we're very serious about our discipline on how we go about this work. They have different geologies in both of these settings, but our team have got great geological experience across the world. So the geology isn't really the key issue. It's really how that package comes together, that once we've done the drilling, we can see a pathway to a resource.
Now, if the drilling is successful, if you are seeing what you want to see, when could you come out with a resource? Could it be done by later this year? Or is that a next year, even 2 years down the road thing?
Oh, Cory, I love your optimism. I think if things go really well, this year would be absolutely fabulous. I think, let's be honest, if we drill any of our projects this half and one of them looks super good, you'll see us put all of our energy into that project and accelerate it as we possibly can in terms of getting to a resource. So I'm going to make no commitments that we'll get there this year, but clearly our focus will be, if something looks really good, we will put all our own energy in that project to drive it forwards.
All right, let's also talk about the Pilbara area, also in Western Australia. What is De Grey, your earning partner here? What are they going to be doing work-wise?
So De Grey and our joint venture, so a couple of things. People in your part of the world may not have picked up. The Northern Star have made a $5 billion takeover offer for De Grey. That's expected to be completed around April if it passes all the legal and shareholder process. But notwithstanding that, De Grey continues to do work. Very hot in the Pilbara and about to be very wet because there's a cyclone that will cross the coast this afternoon in the Pilbara. But notwithstanding that, the De Grey team have been very busy in the office reviewing data, and they are putting together a drilling program to kick off later in March. So again, De Grey are very focused on continuing to execute the expenditure that they need to do to complete the 50-50 joint venture. They've already spent somewhere around $7 to $9 million, so they've done the minimum spend. Now they'll continue working on that project going forwards.
So that hasn't slowed down then, work-wise. With that Northern Star potential acquisition, De Grey is still moving this asset forward?
They are definitely still moving the asset forwards. A little bit of a hiatus, as I said, at the moment, because a lot of great drilling was done last year, and they're now, putting all of that together to think about the next stage of drilling. But we still remain very excited about that potential. I know De Grey do. We have yet to, talk obviously to Northern Star, but we're very much aware that Northern Star understands that edge in a joint venture and how important it is for the big Hemi gold project, which is around 13 million ounces. So people will see news flow out of that probably in Q2 this year.
Mike, is there anything else that's going to happen in terms of the company's project portfolio, potentially bringing in new other projects through either option agreements or earn-ins or JVs?
We definitely aren't sitting back and said, look, we've done these 2 farming deals, let's call it quits. We are definitely still out there looking for similar farming deals for those projects that already had their maiden drilling programs. So we'll continue to look for those projects somewhere in Australia. So who knows where we get to. We're very fussy, very disciplined in our geological due diligence, but we'll keep looking for additional projects that enhances our portfolio.
Now, how about capital for the company? Where do you stand in terms of cash? And I know you have a lot of securities, a lot of investments in other companies. So how is the company doing cash-wise?
So we're in a very good solid base. At the moment we've got about $12 million Australian, which is about $11 million Canadian in the bank, and we still have that investment portfolio, which currently sits around about 40 million Canadian. So we're okay for funding to be able to execute the work that we want to do in the first half of this year. So compared to a lot of other places, other people, I think we're in a good position. And obviously, given the high gold price, I think there's nothing better than to keep exploring under those environments.
All right, Mike, thank you for this update, this bit of a look ahead to the first half of this year. I'll post a link to the company's website in the show notes. All you have to do is click that link and learn more about all the projects that the company has, and please feel free to email me with any questions you have for Mike for our future interviews. So Mike, thank you for this update. I do appreciate the overview and look ahead.
Very good. Thanks, Cory.